The star station Harrow glimmered against the blackness of space, a beacon of commerce and diplomacy at the edge of human-controlled sectors. Ships of all shapes and sizes drifted past, docking with mechanical precision, their engines humming softly. For Commander Aaron Vall, the station felt almost alive. Every hum, every flicker of light told a story. And today, that story would shift in ways he could never predict. Aaron strode through the bustling concourse, his boots clanging against the metallic floor. His uniform was immaculate, adorned with the insignia of the United Human Federation. Diplomacy was not new to him. He had brokered ceasefires, negotiated trade agreements, and calmed entire planets teetering on the brink of war. Yet today's assignment made his chest tighten in anticipation. He was to meet Zir Kalth, a scientist from the Ziran Alliancer race, known for their icy logic and strict discipline. Humans and Ziran had been allies for decades, but the relationship was fragile. Trust was earned, and emotions were often considered dangerous interference. To Aaron, the meeting promised nothing but tension and rigid conversations. Yet he could not shake the inexplicable pull of curiosity. The conference room was sterile, walls glowing faintly with embedded panels displaying galactic maps and diplomatic data. Zira stood, already waiting, her tall frame poised and precise. The Ziran were humanoid, yet their features carried a sharp elegance, silver eyes reflecting every flicker of light, smooth skin patterned with subtle bioluminescent lines, and movements that seemed choreographed rather than casual. Arin walked in, greeting her formally. "Commander Vale, it's an honor." Zira's lips curved in a tight, polite line. "Zira Kalth, let us begin." From the start, their conversation was a storm. Aaron presented human proposals for joint research on energy-based propulsion systems. Zira countered with cold logic, dissecting every suggestion. "Your designs lack efficiency," she stated. "Human emotion often blinds you to data." Aaron raised an eyebrow. "Emotion? I call it creativity. It's how humans solve problems no algorithm can predict." Zira's silver eyes narrowed. "And yet creativity alone does not guarantee survival. You will see." Minutes turned into hours, and what should have been a formal negotiation became a duel of intellect. Every exchange was sharp, witty, and sometimes infuriating. And yet, as both felt a strange thrill, like playing a dangerous game, neither wanted to lose. Observers from both human and Ziran delegations whispered among themselves. They were used to diplomacy, but rarely did they see such sparks fly between species. Some called it reckless, others exciting, but Aaron and Zira did not notice. Each retort, each challenge, only drew them closer into a web of fascination neither wanted to escape. The tension, however, was more than emotional. Unbeknownst to them, a shadow had begun moving through the station's underbelly. The Shroud Collective, a mysterious faction known for sabotage and chaos, had already begun infiltrating Harrow. Their goal was simple but deadly: ignite a war between humans and Ziran. Using the station as a stage, Aaron was the first to notice anomalies. Systems flickered unexpectedly. Communication logs were corrupted. Sensors in the docking bay registered ships that never arrived. "Something isn't right," he muttered, frowning at the control panel. Zira had noticed too, though her approach was different. She analyzed the station's energy flows, pinpointing irregular surges leading to the engineering sector. "This is deliberate," she said. "Someone is tampering with critical systems. If left unchecked, it could destabilize the station." Aaron glanced at her, surprised by the alignment of their concerns. "Then we need to act fast." Zira raised an eyebrow, a silent challenge. "Do you have a plan, Commander?" Aaron smirked. "I do, but you might not like it." And thus began an uneasy partnership. Each was stubborn, each unwilling to fully trust the other, yet both recognized the need to combine human instinct with Ziran precision. They navigated the station together, debating strategy while simultaneously scanning for threats. Aaron relied on gut feelings and improvisation, Zira on data and calculated risks. Their styles clashed, but the results were effective. While investigating, They stumbled upon a hidden corridor leading to a maintenance hub. The energy signatures Zyra had detected pulsed here, strong and unstable. Aaron's hand hovered over his communicator. "We need backup." Zyra shook her head. "No, we cannot alert the others. If the station's authorities become involved prematurely, panic will spread. We must handle this ourselves." The air between them crackled, tension mixing with something else: mutual respect, perhaps more than they were willing to admit. Neither stepped back. They worked side by side, navigating the tight maintenance corridors, scanning for traps. Their bickering had evolved into a rhythm. Aaron would notice something in the shadows. Zyra would calculate the odds, and together, they moved like two halves of a single mind. Hours passed, and their investigation revealed something terrifying. A hidden lab contained experimental weapons being tested, a device capable of tearing open localized wormholes, enough to obliterate parts of the station. The implications were clear. The Shroud intended to use this to start a war, pinning the blame on either humans or Zyran. Aaron's jaw tightened. "We stop this now, or thousands die, and the blame lands on us." Zyra's eyes glimmered with determination. "Then we act together. But we must be precise. Recklessness will ruin us both." For the first time, they worked without arguing, trusting instinct and data in harmony. Each movement was synchronized, each decision deliberate. Even in danger, their connection deepened. The intellectual chemistry that had been a battlefield now became a bridge, unspoken. Acknowledgement of reliance and admiration, they were interrupted by an alert. A group of Shroud operatives had breached the lab. Weapons were drawn, and tension reached a boiling point. Aaron reacted first, moving instinctively to protect Zyra, who immediately countered with precise, calculated strikes. Humans and Zyran had different fighting styles, but together they were a whirlwind. Rind, unpredictable and bold. Zyra, methodical and lethal. The intruders retreated, but the threat remained. The weapon was still active, and the station's leaders were unaware of the danger. Aaron and Zyra shared a fleeting glance, acknowledging that their work was far from over. They had survived the first confrontation, but the stakes had grown. Walking back through the corridors, both felt the weight of their position. They were outsiders in the eyes of their own people. A human commander working this closely with a Zyran scientist? Dangerous, foolish, impossible. Yet neither could step back. Their fascination, their chemistry, and their growing trust had created a bond stronger than any. Protocol. By the time they returned to the observation deck overlooking the bustling station, the stars outside seemed to glow brighter, as if the universe itself acknowledged their connection. Aaron leaned against the railing, eyes on the distant ships. "You know," he said quietly, "we make a good team. Maybe the best anyone could ask for." Zyra's silver eyes reflected the starlight. "Perhaps. But it is still dangerous. We cannot be seen as allies beyond this mission." "Not yet." Aaron's lips curved into a small, knowing smile. "Dangerous? Yes. But sometimes, the risk is worth it." A silence followed, heavy but not uncomfortable. They both understood that the path ahead would test not only their skills, but the very rules of their societies. Trust, respect, and perhaps something deeper had already begun to bloom against logic, against protocol, and against all reason. From the shadows of the station, the Shroud Collective watched, aware that the humans in Zyran they intended to manipulate were already a force to be reckoned with. Sparks had flown, chemistry had ignited, and the first battle of minds and hearts had just begun, and neither Aaron nor Zyra wanted to step back. The Star Station Harrow hummed quietly, oblivious to the storm about to erupt inside its walls. Commander Aaron Vale and Zyran scientist Zyra Kauth had uncovered the Shroud Collective's hidden weapon, a device capable of tearing the station apart. Both knew that if the station's leadership got involved too soon, panic could spread. They had no choice. They had to stop it themselves. Aaron studied the station's schematics displayed on a holographic table. "If we go through the engineering levels, we can reach the weapon before it stabilizes." His finger traced the route, highlighting areas where the Shroud might have set traps. Zyra leaned over his shoulder, her silver eyes scanning each line with precision. There are multiple security systems we cannot predict. We must move carefully. Your human intuition is helpful, but calculation will save us. Careful, Aaron said with a grin. Isn't really my style. But I'll follow your lead. Their subtle teasing masked the underlying tension. Both knew the danger they faced, yet neither wanted to acknowledge the pull between them. Every glance, every word, carried a weight that neither fully understood. They moved through the maintenance corridors, a strange harmony of motion. Aaron's steps were bold and alert, while Zyra's were precise and measured. Together they navigated tight spaces and flickering lights, avoiding the sensors the shroud had left behind. Every corner held the possibility of an ambush. Every shadow could conceal disaster, and then it happened. A section of the corridor collapsed in a controlled detonation, the shroud's warning. Aaron reacted instantly, pulling Zyra behind a support beam. Debris fell around them, but neither was harmed. They're testing us, he said, dusting himself off. They want to see how far we can go, Zyra replied, eyes narrowed. We cannot fail. They pressed on, finally reaching the engineering hub. The weapon pulsed with an eerie blue glow. Energy arcs danced across the walls, illuminating the space in bursts. Aaron's hand hovered over the controls. This is it. If we don't disable it now, Zyra placed a hand on his arm. We will. Together. Their unspoken connection had grown. In that moment, it was clear. Neither would allow the other to fall. It was no longer just strategy or survival. It was something more. Suddenly, the Shroud Collective struck. Operatives dropped from the ceiling in coordinated attack, armed with plasma rifles and stun weapons. Aaron reacted instinctively, dodging and retaliating with fluid movements honed through years of combat. Zyra moved with calculated precision, disabling operatives with targeted strikes and energy pulses. Their fighting styles complemented each other perfectly. Aaron's unpredictability and agility disrupted the attacker's rhythm, while Zyra's precise attacks neutralized threats with minimal effort. They moved as one, instinctively covering each other, anticipating each other's next move. During a brief lull, a blast knocked Zyra to the floor. Aaron dove to shield her, rolling with the impact. His pulse raced, not just from combat, but from concern. Are you okay? He asked, brushing debris from her shoulder. Zyra's eyes softened, a rare display of vulnerability. I am better than expected, thanks to you. Aaron nodded, a subtle acknowledgement passing between them. The danger was immense, but so was the trust they had built. Neither could deny it anymore. Their bond was as strong as any alliance between worlds. The Shroud operatives regrouped, pressing harder. One advanced toward the weapons core. Aaron lunged, tackling the intruder and sending them sprawling. Zyra simultaneously activated the weapons override panel, inputting complex sequences to neutralize its energy buildup. Sparks flew, alarms blared, and the entire hub shook under the strain. Almost there. Zyra shouted, sweat beading on her forehead. Keep them off me for 10 more seconds. Aaron blocked and struck with everything he had, taking down 2 more attackers. His mind was entirely focused on protecting Zyra and ensuring the weapon was disabled. Time seemed to stretch, each second heavier than the last. Finally, Zyra typed the last command. The energy pulsing around the weapon slowed, then ceased, leaving the room in a quiet, charged darkness. The Shroud operatives froze, their plan thwarted. Aaron and Zyra stood side by side, breathing heavily, but alive. They didn't speak at first, the silence filled with the adrenaline of victory and the relief of survival. Then Aaron finally said, "We did it." Zyra's silver eyes met his. Yes, together. It was not just a statement about their victory. It was a recognition of what they had become to each other. Partners, equals, and something more. The station's leadership arrived shortly after. Humans and Zyran alike praised their bravery and skill. For the first time, Aaron and Zyra were recognized not as representatives of their races, but as a team that had saved countless lives. But their attention was not on accolades. They found a quiet observation deck, overlooking the stars. The station's hum seemed distant, almost gentle. Aaron leaned on the railing, looking out at the galaxy. You know, he said softly, I wasn't supposed to like working with a Zyran scientist. And yet, Zira tilted her head, a faint smile touching her lips. And yet you do. I do, Aaron admitted. You're remarkable. Dangerous, brilliant, and infuriating all at once. Zyra's silver eyes shimmered. And you are reckless, daring, and unpredictable. Yet somehow, I trusted you. They shared a moment of understanding. For all the rules, the warnings, and the dangers of their respective societies, they had chosen to rely on each other. They had chosen to face the impossible together. The stars outside seemed to mirror their connection. Vast and infinite, full of potential. Neither human nor Zyron could predict where this bond would lead. But both knew one thing: they would not step back. As they stood side by side, the galaxy stretched endlessly before them. Aaron reached out, his hand brushing against Zyra's. It was a simple gesture, but it carried all the weight of shared danger, trust, and something neither wanted to define fully yet. Whatever comes next, he said, we face it together. Zyra nodded. Together. They did not need more words. The Shroud Collective had been defeated. The station was safe. A bridge between two species had been formed, not just in diplomacy, but in mutual respect and trust. Their chemistry, once a spark of irritation and fascination, had burned into a steady flame, powerful and undeniable. And as Harrow Station glimmered in the void, life moving on above and below, Commander Aaron Vale and Zyra Kalth understood a truth both simple and profound. Sometimes the greatest danger is not in the enemy outside, but in the connection inside. And some risks were worth taking. Neither of them would ever step back.